Imagine you took Suda51, the director of cult classic games such as No More Heroes, Killer 7 and The Silver Case, mixed them with an anime about a depressed boy ending the world, and added a little bit of Hatsune Miku.
Well, you don't have to imagine anything because this already exists. Rebuild of Evangelion Sound Impact is a rhythm game developed by Grasshopper Manufacture for the PlayStation Portable, which released only in Japan on September 29, 2011. Now, the Evangelion series has had many strange games released over the years. In fact, I already covered one of them on this channel. What sets this game apart from all the others is that it's the only EVA rhythm game developed, and also it's the last Evangelion game to be ever made for a console, as everything after this was either a mobile game or a pachinko machine. When I first heard about this, I was very surprised. As a fan of both Evangelion and rhythm games, I just had to check it out. And the fact that it was also developed by Suda51, known for his eccentric over-the-top action and eclectic stories, made me even more curious of what this game could be. While Evangelion's soundtrack is iconic, it doesn't feature a huge collection of songs, so a rhythm game wouldn't be my first guess for a video game. But they got around that problem by featuring a lot of remixes which were done by Akira Yamaoka, a sound director at Grasshopper who is most known for being the composer for the Silent Hill series. Now, as you may have realized, this game focuses on the rebuilt movies of Evangelion rather than the original TV series, which are a sort of a remake/retelling of the original anime, which features some differences and eventually split off into its own narrative with the third and fourth movies. This game only covers the first two movies, so as long as you're familiar with the original story, you should be fine to watch this video and not have much spoiled. Before going fully into the game, I want to quickly go over the title of this game as it's pretty clever. The actual title of this game is Evangelion Shingeki Jouban Soundo Impacto, with Shingeki Jouban translating to New Theatrical Edition, which is how the movies are titled in Japan, with Rebuild being the title used in the West instead. The way sound is written is pretty interesting though, as it takes the number 3, which is pronounced as san in Japanese, and mixes it with the nd suffix you would use for the number 2, like second. The combination of these creates a word that's pronounced sando, a pun referencing the rhythm-based gameplay and the way the major events caused by the angels are referenced in the anime, such as the first, second and third impacts. Alright, let's finally check this game out. When you first boot up the game, you will have 3 songs to choose from, forming the first set. After completing all the songs, you will unlock another set, and so on until you beat and unlock all 30 songs. There isn't any way to distinguish these sets, besides the fact they unlock together, but generally they will focus on a specific angel. The score itself doesn't really matter, as long as you don't fail the song. There's only one difficulty, at least for now, but it does feature 6 different styles of gameplay throughout its song list. The game pretty much follows the events of the movie in order. That, combined with the different gameplay types, did make it feel a lot like a collection of minigames and reminded me a lot of my time with the N64 EVA game. Alright, let's start with track 1 and our first gameplay type, called Angel Session. It's a sort of a dance battle against Satchel, which is the 4th angel in the Rebuilt movies, who is trying to do some sort of a mating ritual dance, with hips which absolutely do not lie. As he dances, the face button symbols appear and circle around, which you have to press with correct timing. In the normal difficulty, you will only ever need to worry about the circle and X buttons. As you successfully hit notes, tanks and other types of weaponized vehicles will appear surrounding the angel and attacking it. Missing a beat will insanely disappoint the soldiers, and with their decreased morale, they just up and leave you until you manage to build up the combo again. The bar at the bottom, or your sync gauge, acts as your health bar. It increases as you perform well and goes down if you mistime a note or press the incorrect button. If it reaches 0, you fail the song and have to restart. Once it fills to 100%, a screen effect happens that honestly just does more harm than good, covering the notes and distracting you. It will continue filling up beyond 100 until it goes crazy and tries to mess you up again. After completing the song, you will have another short section where you gain control of several weapons which can be used to attack the angel directly. By pressing the corresponding button, you will fire the respective weapon at the angel, switching between weapons while they're reloading. Or you can just mash all the buttons at the same time. That also works. Huge props to that one dude who is just shooting their tiny pistol at the angel. I don't know what you're doing, but it's clearly your best. After the timer in the top right expires, it becomes the angel turn, so to speak, and the attacks you inputted before will now be performed. At first, I really liked the idea of this. It seemed like a cool way to have some more interactivity. However, this entire thing is essentially pointless and doesn't seem to affect anything. That in itself wouldn't bother me so much if it weren't for the fact that it doesn't even matter if you do manage to deplete the angel's health bar. They'll just continue walking forward like nothing happened. I understand that this is supposed to be pretty lore accurate, with normal weapons being basically useless against angels, but it doesn't make this any less disappointing. At least extra points would have been nice, or just anything besides absolutely nothing. At least I never noticed it having any effect, and your performance in the rhythm portion also doesn't even change how much weaponry you have available. After finishing with that, you get your results screen ranking how well you perform. Cool means you hit the button with accurate timing, signified by a green effect. Good means you press the right button but were slightly offbeat and is signified by a blue effect. Bad means you either pressed the wrong button or missed the note completely and is signified by a red effect. Max combo I think is pretty self-explanatory and seems to be the biggest factor in your rank, which is represented by these nerve emblems, of which you can get up to 5 per song. Higher scores means more nerve emblems, which unlock stuff in the game's gallery, but we'll get to that later. You also get one of the characters from the show commenting on how well you did. In this case, it's Father of the Year, Gendo himself.
我々人類の切り札を出すまでもないか。
Moving on to the second track, where we get a new type of gameplay called Call of 14, which is even easier than the one before, and involves you moving the waveform line up and down and pressing circle when it aligns with these targets. These sections feature the thoughts of the pilots of the EVA units, with this one focusing on Shinji, talking about sniffing things and finally deciding to get into the damn mech. The whole thing looks like an electrocardiogram with voice clips playing and the background slowly revealing as you successfully hit the targets. By the way, in none of the modes do you get punished for pressing a button when there are no notes, only for missing a target or pressing the wrong button, so go crazy! With Shinji ready to pilot the EVA, we move on to the third track and the actual battle against Sachio. Another new gameplay mode, which is called AT, and alongside Angel Session, is the most prominent one you'll see throughout the game. Here you have to press the correct button as the two octagons overlap, which represent the AT field. If they appear on the left side of the screen and have this purple color, you need to press left on the D-pad, and if they appear on the right side and have this yellow color, you need to press circle. You also see these big AT field icons with both colors, for which you have to press both left and circle together. What the game doesn't tell you is that you can also use the shoulder buttons if that's easier for you, though I much prefer to use the D-pad and face button. The entire time you get scenes from the movie playing in the background, which is nice, and sometimes you even get these big cut-in AT fields, which you activate the same as usual big targets by pressing both the buttons. These will play a short scene of the supporting characters commenting on the battle. After finishing the song, you get another short sequence where you beat the living crap out of the Angel's score by mashing left and circle. Unlike the end sequence in the first track, this one actually does add to your point total, and if you hit it enough times it will start to crack and burst, followed by a cutscene of the Angel exploding. Overall, a much better addition as it's way shorter and a lot more satisfying. With the Angel finally defeated for good and the set of songs completed, we get a preview of the events to follow in the classic Evangelion style.
初めて感じた胸の奥に広がる温かい感情、それを表現する術を知らない一人の少女。彼女はその思いを手にした包丁に託そうとした。次回ニュートラック、この次もサービスさせてもらうわよ。
Alright, another set of free songs starting with another new game mode called Hex. The screen is covered with this red hexagon pattern, where some of the hexagons will glow yellow and a line of hexagons will snake towards it. You just need to time your circle presses for when they intersect. Doing it successfully will start fading away the background, revealing the cutscene playing underneath it. In this case, it's scenes showcasing Rei from the movie. There are also hold notes where you need to hold circle as the line fills up and release it as it completes it. I cannot actually play the song that's playing right now as it gets blocked by YouTube, but it's Tsubasa o Kudasai, meaning please give me wings. While it's probably most known as the song used in Evangelion in the West, it's actually a popular Japanese folk song written in 1970 by Michio Yamagami and composed by Kunihiko Murai. It has had many covers of it made over the years, and Evangelion is not even the only anime to feature it. With these, we pretty much covered all the main different types of gameplay you'll see in the game, so let's speed things up a bit until something new pops up. Track 5 is another Angel session, this time against Shamshell and another remix of Decisive Battle Play. In the end shooting section, you do get access to different weaponry, some of which has to be set up first, but you only get one chance to shoot at the Angel. You don't even get enough time to see the Angel's health bar drop. Track 6 is another Hex battle against Shamshell, when you finally defeat it and move on to unlocking the next set of songs. Starting with an Angel session against Ramiel. It's great to see him let loose a little. We shoot him, but of course, his perfect form cannot be touched by mortal hands, despite this one dude again trying his absolute best. Short break to listen to Rei's thoughts, and a Hex stage covering Operation Yashima. This ends the current set of songs and the events of the first Rebuild movie. This new set features 4 songs and a new gameplay type, but before that, we have an Angel session against what is the third Angel in the Rebuild version and exclusive to the movies, which ends in a shootout in a tunnel. Next is track 11 with a mode that I guess is called Number 5, in reference to the Evangelion Unit 5 that Marie is piloting. This minigame seems to have the most production value to it out of any other, as you're not just watching a series of scenes from the movie, but actually have fully modeled characters doing some actions. Yeah, it's nothing crazy, but still. As for the gameplay, you have lines going from both sides of the screen towards the center, and you have to press either the left or right shoulder button to hit them. You can also use left on the D-pad and circle, which the game again doesn't tell you, and it's much easier to do. You also get a combo counter at the top of the screen, which you never got before, just so you can be extra sure when you've messed up. Now I actually have a few issues with this mode. I already struggled quite a bit recording footage for this game, as I had to play on an emulator to capture it, and there is a small input delay which you can really feel in a game all about rhythm and timing, making this a bit of a hell to go through. But in this specific minigame, I struggled so much to get the timing right even on actual hardware. Sometimes it felt like notes just appeared out of nowhere. It's like they had placed notes perfectly to be missed by your eye's natural blind spot. The background and the flashing effects also just make it hard to focus and make the moving lines blend in. I really did not enjoy this minigame, but thankfully it only pops up once more. The green areas in the middle can help you anticipate the next note, as they will come together if that's where the note is coming from. You do have times where you have to press both directions at the same time and hold notes, which can also be difficult to notice with all the stuff happening on screen. As this is quite early in the game, it's not the most difficult thing right now, but there is a hard mode where these become just awful to play. We finish the song and move on to the AT sequence, where we get to let out some pent-up anger on the Angel Core.
さよなら、エヴァ5号機。お役目ご苦労さん。
And all was good with the world. We end this set with a hex track focusing on Marie, mainly showing the scenes of when she met Shinji. Next set focuses on the 7th Angel. Nothing new here. First is an Angel session, then an AT field track with Asuka joining the team and beating the Angel, followed by another copyrighted song in Asuka's hex section. The next set is absolutely spoiling us with 6 whole songs. Just wow. Although 3 of them have a suspiciously similar name. Anyway, first is an Angel session against the 8th Angel. Then we get our actual final type of gameplay, which is the Teardrop, only featured in these 3 missions, where each one focuses on one of the 3 Eva units running towards where they are planning to intercept a falling angel. As you run, you can press either circle to do a high jump or X to do a long jump. First, you need to jump over some telephone lines with your high jump. Then you encounter these red and blue nerve obstacles over which you have to either high or long jump respectively. It's really nice of Gendo to make our lives harder for no reason. Now, despite your long jump being clearly high enough to clear the red barriers, the game says no. At one point, these walls will form in the background, on which you can run upwards. Doesn't really do much and only seems to be present in the first teardrop track with Shinji, but hey, it's here. The second mission with Asuka features only high jumps and focuses more on reaction time, with the camera being pointed more towards the Eva and away from coming obstacles. The last one has you playing as Rei and again features both types of jumps. After making it to the end with all 3 Eva units, you have a Call of 14 section going over Asuka's thoughts, and then the AT field battle against the Angel itself. Since there's not much left, let's do a lightning round of the rest of the tracks. Track 23 is a Call of 14 for Kaworu being all naked on the moon. Track 24 is an Angel session on the 9th Angel who really needs to work on his dance moves. And track 25 is an AT field battle against it. Next set. Track 26 is a Call of 14 for Mari. Track 27 is an Angel session against the 10th Angel who isn't even trying to groove anymore. And track 28 is an AT field battle against it. Track 29 may seem special with a new name, Beastie Girl, but it's the same as what we saw in the number 9 track, just now with more copyrighted music. The song playing is titled The Final Decision We All Must Take, although this version is just an instrumental with no lyrics unfortunately. Again, visually this is pretty great, with them having recreated some of the scenes in game really well, but it's still my least favorite mode to play. All that's left is the final track 30, which is an AT battle featuring the conclusion of the second movie, where the 10th Angel is attacking the Nerve headquarters and battling Shinji, who manages to awaken his Eva unit, and I'm sure nothing bad happens after that. We beat up the final Angel Core for the final time and get our credits. This is actually another minigame where you control the spear hurling at a red earth, where you can adjust its path with the analog stick, making the names in the credits glow if you go through the circles. Another credit sequence, this time without a minigame, and we've completed Rebuild of Evangelion Sound Impact. So what do we get for it? Well, besides some more stuff for the gallery, we also unlock a hard mode. By pressing right on the D-pad, the colors will inverse, signaling you are in hard mode, which just features more difficult versions of the songs you've already played. They have their own ranks and nerve emblems you can collect too. The most notable thing here is that Triangle and Square finally get to see some action, but overall, the game is still not that difficult. Well, if you don't have to deal with a delay. That's it unfortunately, and there aren't any more difficulties you unlock afterwards, so let's end this video with a final look at the gallery. It's a gallery, innit? This is where the nerve emblems come into play. As you perform better in the different songs, you will gain more and unlock new pieces of artwork, which also include pictures of bento boxes they specifically hired someone to create for this game. And that was Rebuild of Evangelion Sound Impact, a weird little licensed game by a weird little company. While it was enjoyable to go through and fun to listen to some remixes of Eva songs, I felt the whole thing was lacking quite a bit in terms of its gameplay. As I mentioned, I am a fan of rhythm games and have played a few in my time, so my standards may be a bit higher, but it's quite impressive for them to make a rhythm game that actively punishes your eye for having a blind spot.
I can't imagine this game being more than a quick cash-in to fund Grasshopper's other projects.
And it's not their only licensed anime game, but if you really enjoy the music of Evangelion, I think you can get a decent bit of fun out of it. It took me about an hour and a half to get through all the songs on normal, which was very easy honestly. Hard mode offers a bit more enjoyment with its challenge, except for Beastie Girl, which I couldn't even finish on hard, but still wouldn't be all that difficult to a seasoned rhythm game veteran. I really wish they leaned more into the weird minigames. At first, the game felt really novel with its ideas, having to shoot at the angel and punch the core, but that wore off fairly quickly, especially when you realize just how little it matters in the end. Still, I do commend them for trying a variety of gameplay modes, which certainly kept it interesting throughout, so while the execution may not be the best thing in the world, the concepts were pretty cool, and I certainly wouldn't call it a bad game. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this game, or if you want to suggest any other games you'd like to see me cover.
Leave a like, massacre that subscribe button, all those things, and I'll see you all in the next one.